the story about Jackson Hinkle. So someone sent this to me via email the other day. I was not aware of this, but apparently this happened very recently. I have two updates in reference to Jackson Hinkle. So the first video clip that I want to show you is Jackson Hinkle talking about a suspension. So apparently he was suspended a couple of days ago, hit with the flag on YouTube. So when you get a suspension, you can't stream for sometimes a couple of days, sometimes 2 days, sometimes a week, sometimes 2 weeks, depending on what it's for and if it's the first or second one or not. So I want to get into that video first because he did talk about it on Rumble. So that's where we're going to pop that clip in here. So he was suspended a couple of days ago. So listen to this and then we'll get into what he announced yesterday.
Drop a like on this, share this far and wide, because my YouTube channel was just hit with another wave of censorship. This time, the biggest that I've seen really in about a year. It's so upsetting, so demoralizing. But, you know, this is kind of what you have to expect at a certain level, and you just keep charging through, and it is what it is. But thankfully, we have platforms like X and like Rumble, which I'm uploading this content to right now, and I will continue to do so throughout the remainder of my YouTube suspension. But I've been suspended for another 14 days. I just faced a suspension of 7 days that I served, and I'm back in YouTube jail. So
let me pause there for a second and tell you what that's really about. So if you get one suspension from YouTube, they give you like a week where you can't stream for a week. Obviously, most of us stream, right? I know that they had demonetized Jackson Hinkle's channel. I want to say that was like a year ago, or maybe at the very beginning of this year. But it's been a while where they had totally like just demonetized his channel, and it's kind of like starting from scratch when that happens, right? But he got through that and continued posting on YouTube, and then explained that he would have to take sponsorships from people now because his channel was completely demonetized on YouTube. And then he also joined Rumble to help with that as well. Then what they'll do sometimes is while you're serving that first suspension, they'll look for another reason to give you a second one. And if you get a second one right after that, then it's 14 days. So now you have 2 weeks where you cannot stream. And they've done this with other people that I know of as well. So let's continue here.
You know, it's just so upsetting. And it's like the people that are not political around me that watch this stuff, they're like, how is this happening in America? Well, it's happening in America because, as we all know, there is a corrupt cabal of elite leadership who will do anything and everything to silence independent voices where they are heard the most. And for me, that's on YouTube, with over 301,000 subscribers monthly, getting, 10 million views or more. That's where they are choosing to hit me, because they can no longer hit me on Twitter or X. But Elon, I guess, has done a number on me there. He's demonetized my X account, basically. I'm getting like $100 a month there. I mean, come on, I'm one of the largest accounts on the entire platform, and then you do that to me. These liberals get $15,000 a month, but I'm only getting $100.
So that's another thing that I think people needed to hear. And that's the Elon Musk thing. As much as Elon Musk tweets out that he's against censorship and we need free speech, he still deplatforms people on Twitter. He still suspends accounts. Garland Nixon, last I saw, was still locked out of his account on Twitter, even though the account still exists, but they won't actually let him log into the account. So it's free speech for certain people. And what I've noticed, like, if you're coming from that camp where you're talking about the government agencies and if you're talking about the jab, like things like that, he's good for those types of things. Like, yes, he'll let that remain for the most part. But it seems like when it comes to certain narratives about war or social issues per se, that's when they'll come in. So even Elon Musk, as much as he brags about like, yeah, I'm free speech, he's not free speech. He has still been heavily suppressing accounts, particularly leftist accounts have been heavily suppressed on Twitter and still are, by the way, heavily suppressed on Twitter. And you heard what Jackson Hinkle said that happened to him. So Just FYI.
So I guess that's the price you pay for telling the truth on these platforms and trying to get the message out there and successfully doing it, successfully challenging people like Piers Morgan, going on, positively with a positive message on Tucker Carlson. And most recently, I'm in Russia doing that on Russian television. And I was just on a series of Russian television programs, and it is absolutely blowing up on Russian social media. It's what you call being directly over the target. Okay. Now,
that part right there. This is honestly why I believe they came after him again this time, is because you guys, for those of you who are not aware, he did travel to Russia. He has been reporting from Russia. And I really think that is what sent off alarms again this time around, right? Like, we do know other journalists that are over there, like Fiorella is in Russia as well. But Fiorella has explained, like, Convo Couch was demonetized like over 2 years ago. But she's working with RT, and she's also doing her own show now that she announced the other day. We know journalists that have traveled over there, right? But I think what happened here, particularly in this case with Jackson Hinkle, is the fact that not only was his channel very much focused on the war with Russia and Ukraine, but he had interviewed people, particularly from Russia, that I was like, YouTube's going to flag that had a narrative that YouTube wouldn't like, so to speak, right? So there was that. And then recently he just went to Russia. So of course they were going to. And there's the other thing too. Jackson Hinkle gained a lot of traction because of his coverage about Russia and Ukraine, so much to the point that he was on Piers Morgan's show to debate him about this. He's been on Tucker Carlson's show. So he has received a lot of attention. He blew up very quickly after he started like covering Russia, Ukraine. And so they kind of looked at it as though this is someone who is a threat, because now his narrative is getting out to too many people. If he went on to Piers Morgan's show and he went on to Tucker's show, wait a minute. Now this message is getting out to too many people. So this is going to be a problem. So this is what they do. Then they'll come in and they'll shut you down, right? So they suspended him for a week and then 2 weeks.
Now, what I want to say is I unfortunately had to take down all of my previous content on YouTube again. So I had to do this a year ago, and I've had to do it again. All of my previous videos, live streams, speeches, posts, shorts, everything is gone. All right. You can find most of my library of content still on Rumble and other alternative platforms. Rumble's the main one. For the remainder of my suspension, because I'm going to be in Russia for a little bit and in the United States for a duration of it, I'm going to be streaming on Rumble and X. Most of you will probably watch me on Rumble. We've got a sizable audience there, about 100,000 followers over on Rumble. And it's good, but I'm hoping that my channel remains instated and I can eventually come back to YouTube once this is all over. All right. On that note,
unfortunately, though, that did not happen. Now, I want to add something here that he just said in reference to the Rumble thing. And, he's monetized over there and he's going to work on being monetized, I guess, streaming on X. I guess similar to how Tucker Carlson has the show on X, that kind of thing. One thing I do want to point out, over a year ago, when Jackson Hinkle's channel was hit, he did delete a lot of the videos just to remain safe. Like, I know he had gotten to like 2 strikes, and the thing is, if you get a third one, that's it, your channel is done. So he did delete a lot of those videos and basically started all over. So now it seems like he had to do that all over again, but wasn't enough this time around.
So if you would like to support my work, you can do so by, and I really appreciate anyone who donates because it's tough. They have permanently demonetized my YouTube channel for over a year and a half. That means that, I based on my views, I should be receiving about $30,000 to $50,000 a month, but I received a grand total of $0. They still run ads on my videos, as some of you see, but I get 0 income from that. Twitter doesn't really pay me anything, and Rumble, to the best of their ability, they have difficulties with advertisers, but I get like a little bit there, maybe a few $100 a month.
Most of us are not making money on Rumble. For those of you who are not aware, like, I've been on Rumble for I want to say almost a year, but I started live streaming on Rumble Rumble a couple of months ago. But I'll just be honest with you, I have no shame. Okay. So when I looked at my account on Rumble, it said I've made $44. Monetization on Rumble is very different than YouTube. And so I've been on there for almost a year. No, exactly about a year. And I've only made $44 altogether. So we don't make that much. And he has way more followers on Rumble than I do. And we don't make much on Rumble. I'm just going to be honest with you guys and keep it real with you. Surprise. We don't make that much. And I've spoken to people who have larger channels than Jackson does on Rumble, and they don't make much either. You'd be surprised. From what I understand, in order to really make money on Rumble, I think you have to have that Rumble contract. So there are some people who do have the Rumble contracts, and so they are paid a certain amount. But other than that, I got $44.
And my sponsors that are the main source of my income, other than donor support, obviously, they are most enticed with the idea of advertising on my channel on YouTube, where my viewers are. And without that, I don't really have sponsors. So your support is more important to me now than ever before. So if you have the means, please do consider donating any amounts that you feel comfortable with to my locals, to my Patreon, or my GiveSendGo, which I have linked all below. Now, moving forward, I've talked about this quite a bit, but I do have a website that is almost live, and it's going to be really great. We're going to have live streams on the website. We're going to have private viewer-only live streams, so basically an after show like Tim Pool does, where you can pay a premium fee and get premium content.
And this speech actually gave me a kick in the butt, because Eric has been telling me for quite some time, Sabs, you need to have a website. I have the Roundtable website where I post like some of my YouTube videos as an article format, and then you can click on the video. And that's linked in the description of my videos. But Eric has been kind of pinging me about this, like, Sabs, you need a website just in case. And I think this is a very crucial point here that Jackson is making. Like, he's obviously going to start streaming to that website. And there have been other people that have done this besides Tim Pool. I think at one point Lee Camp did this as well.
And that's going to be on a nightly basis. When I do a live stream, I'll have an after show. And then also I'll have my merch stuff there and donation features there on my own website. So I guess what I got to say is, the message is, if you want your voice to be heard and you're speaking out against the rich and powerful and the corrupt, your best bet is to develop these independent forms of getting the message out there. That's what I'm trying to do. And big thank you to all of you who support me, who continue to seek out my work even when it is difficult. And I just hope that this is all the censorship we're going to face for some time, because this is a big hit. And you know, all my videos are gone. That's unfortunate, but we're still on YouTube for now. That's why I'm the most censored man, the most censored patriot on YouTube. And I'm going to keep trying to break down these walls of mistrust and fake news that the mainstream is pushing out and shoving down your throats as long as I can and to the best of my ability. So
I will say Jackson Hinkle is not the most censored person on YouTube. The most censored people are the people that don't gain any traction at all, because they're so heavily suppressed that you'll never find these people. There are channels that I do watch, and even if I enter the channel name in the search bar, the channel doesn't even appear. It's like I have to go back to my library, like my YouTube library, and see the videos I've watched for them in order to get onto the channel. And I've spoken to them about this as well. I've told those people that when I type your name into the channel search for YouTube, your channel doesn't appear. All this other stuff appears, but not the channel. So I don't say he's the most censored person on YouTube. It's those people that are so suppressed to the point that if you enter their name into YouTube, it just doesn't even appear at all. And it's not just people in independent media. That has also happened to people in the medical field that are on YouTube as well. That has happened to some of the doctors, where YouTube has made it to where like you can't find them. Those are the people that were the most censored. You could still find Jackson Hinkle. Yes, they had demonetized him and they had suspended him, but they never made it to the point where you couldn't find him. So I think that point is important to mention.
Unfortunate news, no doubt. but I'm still here in Russia. I'll still be producing videos, and you will get those on the platforms I mentioned. Thank you to those platforms. Thank you to all of you who support me. And I'll see you all next time, all right? So I don't know if I have any other real news to talk about.
So he said, I will see you all next time. And then apparently there was no next time, because then I saw this message. Someone sent me this as well. Now, Jackson Hinkle posted this yesterday, October 9th. YouTube has permanently banned my channel, The Dive with Jackson Hinkle, 300,000 subscribers, for alleged Ukraine misinformation. Please consider donating to my Give, Send, Go to support my reporting as I find my footing and look for new work. Let me highlight this piece right here, the Ukraine part. Remember what I told you at the beginning? And I said he had recently went to Russia, and I think that's why he was targeted again this time around. So they told him what it was for. So his reporting over there and some of the people he may have interviewed, that's what they were flagging. But I don't think they were flagging this on their own. I highly believe, and this happened before, that he was reported. Usually people who are mass reported, these are the people that get taken down. So in the video I just showed you, that was a couple of days prior to this announcement on YouTube. And in that video, he was suspended for 14 days. Now his channel is completely gone. And I want to show you, Eric, can you bring up YouTube? I just want to show you what happens when you type in his channel. Because I tried this yesterday and I was like, wait, did this come out before the video, or did the video come out first? And I realized like the video came out first. So watch this. Watch this. If you enter, watch. Let me show you what happens. So there's me, because I'm talking about this story. You'll see other shows that had Jackson Hinkle in the channel or the title, like Majority Report, of course, OAN. That was the interview he had with Piers Morgan. Then people also watched. So do you guys see? Notice his channel is no longer there. So if you've been looking for him, or you're wondering like what the hell happened to Jackson Hinkle's channel, it's not there. I can even try. And so, oh my God. So look at this. This is hilarious. So I typed in Jackson Hinkle banned. And of course, this stream comes up because this is right now. But look at this, 1 year ago. So that was when he came on. I interviewed Jackson Hinkle 1 year ago. So I told you this happened before. This time the channel is completely gone. So here's the thing. Jackson Hinkle and I, we don't agree on some things. We do not agree on some things. Let's keep it real. Okay. So there are some areas where we do not agree. And there are some areas where we just do not get along in reference to policy positions. That being said, just because we have those disagreements, that doesn't mean that he should be banned. So I would not cheer this on happening to anyone. It could happen to you. That's the thing. If you don't agree with what someone's saying, you don't have to watch their show. You don't have to listen to what they have to say. But I think this speaks to the censorship issue once again. Like the people who reported Jackson Hinkle, if they didn't like his narrative, maybe they should have just not watched it. But to go so far to extremes to try to seriously just take someone down, that really takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of fucking time. And honestly, like, I would tell those people to get a life. Like, what are you doing with your time in your life? If you're really spending that much time to try to get someone removed, what are you doing with your life? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like I said, we don't agree on a lot of things. Not like we used to. He changed on some positions. But do I think that because I didn't agree with some of the things that he was saying that his channel should have been removed? No, I don't. But here we are. So if you looked for him and you didn't find him, that's why. Very interesting. Very interesting. Red says Rumble operates like the record business. Yes. Yes, they do. You made this album. You make 50 cents for each album because the rest of the money goes to the producer and the lawyers and the CEOs. If you want to make all your money, you got to go on tour. There you go. Thank you, Gayla. Gayla says Caleb Maupin. Is Caleb Maupin hard to find now too? Do you have to search for him too? You see? Thank you, Female Rage. Kind of crazy that people like Eugenia Cooney can be mass reported for years for promoting Anna and not getting banned yet. Traveling to Russia gets you banned. Yep. I really think that's what did it. I really do.